You sit here on Tuesday afternoon and go, oh, there's not too many outs there. It all looks pretty smooth. And then come Thursday morning, and there's more outs than Australia bowling to England in the Ashes this upcoming year. Can't wait for that, by the way. But yeah, we've got some potential outs of Galvin and Adam Fanua-Blake. It sounds like there's a chance Galvin dropped. He's training with the reserves right now, and Added with some type of ribs issue is the potential late mail there, but not sure on those two. Tolu Kola is actually out though, so that's the big one there. So anyway, my tips. I ended up going okay last week. I lost a little bit, but kept my first ranking in my family tipping comp. 576 out of 17,500 Cowboys fans. So we're in a pretty good spot, and 11th and 13th in my two private group and the open comp there as well. So yeah, a little interesting situation on that front, but we got a couple wrong, obviously picking Roosters, and then the Dogs were the two big ones, and then we lost with Panthers as well. So that was that, but that's okay. We move on. Didn't lose too many in the rankings. I think everyone else had a little bit of a struggler in some way, shape or form, where they got another tip wrong than mine, or they followed along with that as well. But going into that first game this week, we've got Dogs up against Dragons. I am going to go with the Dogs there. I think they'll bounce back after a really poor effort last weekend. And yeah, they've got enough time there, 6 days to recover from that and get back on the horse and get a good win. The Dragons, on the other hand, are coming off a bye, and I think that'll be a good thing. So I'm actually expecting this game to be very close, but the Dogs should bounce back. They've got Josh Curran at 13. I think that's a pretty cool thing, although Kurt Mann has been doing a good job there as well. Salmon's back, so that helps them a little bit shore up that edge, and then Preston can come on and do his thing there as well. So yeah, Dogs, I'm going to give them the chance to win this one, so I'll be tipping them. In the next game, there might be changes at Tigers. There's a chance that Appy ends up playing 7. So if that's the case, it shakes things up a little bit and may be helpful for them. I definitely think they're a chance of winning this matchup, but I am going to go for the Cowboys at home for a little bit of a bounce back. Hopefully, the time is now for them to have a crack there. With Kohler out, they're going to see Hopewadi actually come into this starting team. Not sure how they're going to play this, if Garrick's going to go 1, if Hopper's going to go to centre. But I do think it's a loss having Kohler out. We know how damaging he can be. The Storm played well last week, and they were able to give Grant an extra bit of rest. Jerome Hughes to be back. They lost Munster for a lot of that game. Well, basically the second half of that game the other day. And they were still able to do really well. So I do think the Storm can get the job done there, even away from home against the Eagles. In the next game, Raiders and the Roosters. We have to tip the Roosters. They played pretty well on the weekend, just got beat by a better side. And the Raiders keep scrapping wins together. But I do think the Roosters have too much firepower, unfortunately, for the Raiders to win. And then Sharkies up against Panthers. I'm actually going to tip the Sharks in this one by 4. I think that they're just in an absolute rich vein of form at the moment, and the Panthers are struggling a little bit. So still without Cleary, I think the Sharks can get the job done. A full strength side they are in this one. And then the Bunnies up against the Eels. I find this one to be the toughest of the week, to be honest, along with the final game, the Warriors and the Dolphins. I am tossing and turning between this game. I think the Rabbitohs are a really good chance there. They've shaken it up a little bit with Whiten and Walker in the halves. You got Latrell out back, and probably it's their centers that are a little bit of a problem right now with Milne, and also GCam as well, who a little bit more of an edge player rather than a center, but can do a job. The big thing with the Eels is, do they have enough firepower and attack to score enough points, and can they play any defense, which is something that left them last week with a few of the outside backs like Warbrick and those and Falongo and stuff like that. Xavier Coates doing a good job there. So yeah, that's the Eels just over the Bunnies in this one, but there's a chance I do swap. I think this is a very tough one. Broncos up against the Titans. We have to break the Broncos. Titans have still got too many outs. Reece Walsh returns. Pretty simple at that front. Payne Haas and Carrigan playing. And then the last one, if Adam Fanua-Blake is out, this makes this tip a little bit harder. But I will have to say, I think they played themselves into some form last week. And Adam Fanua-Blake still only played 49 minutes with whatever issue he ended up having. So if he's out, I could change the Dolphins. But I think at home there for the Warriors, I will keep the tip as is. They found a little bit of form last week, and they'll take a lot out of beating the Panthers, I think. And yeah, we'll be able to come out and do a good job at home against the Dolphins, who have been winning a lot of games, but I think might be due for a loss. So that's my tips for this week, guys. Short and sharp. I'll get into it for the fantasy and Supercoach guys that watch this video as well. I'll get in and chat about all of those potential outs and what you might want to do with your side in the Q&A video I'm going to pop out in another hour or so. So thanks for coming along to this one. We'll see you in the next one.